Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored!
Come from behind for a month. Now with the lead, they're getting a little wobbly. Philadelphia, they won't get him! Wow! Edwards pulls up and buries a play! Richardson tries, out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. Daniels takes his shot for Darby.
Welcome on into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter, as yes, you guys all know. So glad to be here. See the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also on my IG, michael.caratino.5. And yes, Pitchfork Lunchers, I know. I tell you every day, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you've missed anything, because yeah, you've missed a few things. Just gonna say it. You missed a ton of interviews and sound interviews, everything, which again, I have more of that today. And that part is kind of a bummer that, yes, you have missed it, but you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, see my name, Michael Caratino, but you can search the page. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat, 005, at MVC005 on YouTube. And subscribe. Again, like I said, interviews that you have missed. We've already had a ton on. A ton on there, obviously. Interviews. We already had a ton of interviews. So yes, you definitely need to subscribe and get caught up because yes, I mean it is just absolutely rolling and absolutely rolling. And we are doing again, you got a lot to catch up on. But yes, you can go there. Also, guys, if you are watching, you can send to your friends that you've said, hey man, we go around Sun Devil Athletics, and there's a ton of excitement. I mean, I've sold you football, obviously football rolling at 5-1, hockey getting going, crazy. Last weekend matchup against Michigan. Now they head to Providence. Volleyball, obviously 16-2. Houston tonight at Mullet Arena. Soccer again, a little bit of a challenge, but at the same time, a little bit of challenge at the same time, but they are, again, just absolutely awesome. And they're, again, tough playing in the Big 12. It is tough. But Coach Winkworth and the team, yeah, big fans. So, I mean, that is all rolling now. But yes, it you can get all the content there. But for those watching, you can let your friends know that can't leave for lunch at noon. You can go to the Casual Sports Radio Network, the best internet radio station out there, and check out the show. It's at www.ksrnaz.com. You can log on to that. Screen opens up. Boom. Just go down to click listen live. And like to tell your friend, obviously your friends are smart enough. They're Sun Devils, but they're at work. Boom. They can just scroll down and click listen live. Here comes Pitchfork Lunch live from 12 to 1 every day on the Casual Sports Radio Network. Casual E hooking me up and bringing Pitchfork Lunch in as a part of it. So yeah, very stoked about that because yes, and you get, not only was there more comprehensive coverage, see articles, again, recaps of games of ASU, but I mean Suns, obviously preseason ended, ton of Suns coverage, Cardinals coverage, Diamondbacks when they're going, Mercury when they're going. So yes, it is all there on the Casual Sports Radio Network. Again, the best internet radio station out there. Pitchfork Lunch, a part of it. Again, www.ksrnaz.com, and you can check it out. And yeah, you can check it out because, again, why would you not want to? By the way, softball starts their fall schedule today. They will be taking on Grand Canyon tonight at, I want to say 6. I want to say 6, but yeah, a little fall ball, as they say. So softball getting rolling, and Coach Bartlett again back for her third season. So that is very exciting for that as well. But now you know where to go. Check out the show. And yes, football. We are headed to Cincinnati, my friends, and to take on the Bearcats, as I've mentioned. I mentioned Monday in Victory Monday, but yesterday. Today, team wrapped up open availability to media part of the practice, and yeah, a little bit earlier. Again, just getting used to that early morning, and team going at it. We'll hear from some from out at football today. We'll hear from Coach Dillingham. Breaking news too, by the way. Coach talked about it today, but Sam Levitt is out. That means Jeff Sims, who scored that rushing touchdown yesterday, will be starting for the Sun Devils. We'll hear Coach talk about it, but Coach Dillingham did say that today after practice. So Jeff Sims is starting, and this young man, like I said, is transferred from Georgia Tech and Nebraska. And, you know, I've talked about it. You heard Coach say, I mean, even post game, but he came here to start. He came here to start. He was in the competition, and Sam Levitt was able to beat him out, inch him out. And again, it was a very good competition and tough competition. But yeah, so Jeff Sims will get the start in Cincinnati. Coach did mention that today. We'll hear from Coach coming up in a little bit. It's interesting. That's what I was going to say. Sorry. It's interesting too, because Coach Arroyo, we'll hear from him too. The offensive coordinator talks about it. I mean, you know, in this day and age of the transfer portal, people say, oh, so-and-so goes here, goes there. But I mean, he was at Georgia Tech and then went to Nebraska, you know, so you come in and it's a different offensive coordinator, you know, and then, you know, a scheme, and then another coordinator scheme, another coordinator and scheme. So, you know, he got here, you know, he was here for the summer, obviously, and then opening a fall camp and all through, you know, the battle with Sam Levitt. But he, I mean, look, and I've talked about it before. I talked about it during the competition when the show first started. That, I mean, they both throw the ball very well. I mean, there's some throws that absolutely just snap off this young man's wrist. And you saw, you know, again, coming in for, you know, the 2 series he did as a backup in any sport, you're cold. Not an excuse, just fact. But yeah, he did rush for a touchdown, and I mean, the ASU is going to run their offense. I mean, and Coach will talk about it, but for Jeff Sims, I mean, this again, absolutely, this is huge, and I mean, this is a young man who, you know, you look at 31 interceptions or 31 touchdowns to 29 interceptions coming in. Rushed obviously. Obviously it's a young man that can rush for but you look at him at Georgia Tech in 2020. I mean, he completed 141 of 257 passes for 1,881 yards, 13 touchdowns, but cancel that out with 13 interceptions. In his career, he's 393 for 682, just a completion percentage of 57.6%, 4,700 yards. I mean, so you got 2020, 2021, 2022 at Georgia Tech. Then he went to Nebraska in 2023. And then, like I said, I transferred here. But, I mean, it's just growing. And, he comes to work every day. And, Coach Dillingham obviously talks about that as well. Has talked about it as well. But yes, this competition with Sam Levitt, absolutely huge. And, Levitt and Coach will address that. I'll let you hear from Coach. But just wanted to let you know off the top that Jeff Sims will be starting at quarterback at Cincinnati this Saturday, 9 a.m. local kickoff, ESPN Plus. 9 a.m. local kickoff here, noon, obviously, in Cincinnati. But, yeah. It's going to be interesting. So we shall see. Volleyball, they are taking on Houston tonight, as I told you. Yes, they are taking on Houston tonight at Mullet Arena. Do not forget, it is at Mullet Arena, the 16-2 Sun Devils. And let's see. I think they went up 2 spots because I looked. Let's say, or was it 1 spot or 2? In the AVCA poll, which I give you guys. Okay. This is very odd. Well, now for some reason they're down, so I don't want to misspeak. So I'll work on that. But nonetheless, they are 16-2. They were 13th in the country, and they had a big win, obviously, against Arizona last Wednesday. They beat this team from down south. You saw it here, saw it coming in. They beat them in 4. Then they swept Texas Tech in 3, and now Houston comes here tonight to take on ASU. And Houston themselves as the Cougars come in, they are 8-7 overall. And these are always the games, and I looked at it as I was looking at it last night. As long as you keep Houston, and they're not going to overlook them. I mean, that's not Coach Van Neal, like he said, after it was after the who did they beat before? after, BYU is just, after Utah, it was BYU, because it was one of those things where he was talking about, like, yeah, I mean, a rivalry game is coming, but if you're not focused, as we all know, right, pitchfork lunchers, then, you overlook anybody. And yeah, you could say Houston's 8-7, but inevitably, what really does that do? If you overlook somebody, like I said, inevitably, all of a sudden you see yourself in a fifth set, and maybe maybe you see yourself all of a sudden in a fifth set or losing a match. And if you don't respect teams, remember for pitchfork launchers, I know, checked out last year when we sat down and talked with Jelly Sear. She's like, up at Oregon after they came back, and Oregon's number 5 at the time, and they had lost to Oregon State, but then in Corvallis, then went to Eugene and beat Oregon. And she said it was one of those things. Where she kind of felt that, in warming up, it's like Oregon was warming up, but, there's one thing about being loose and feeling that the body language of Oregon looked like they were going to have an easy match, and bam, ASU went and smacked them. So yeah, Coach Van Neal definitely not gonna let his team do that, nor does he, coach like that. And people say, oh, coaches always say that, it's one of those things where it's coach speak, right? And yes, I mean, to an extent, look, they become coach speak, player speak, or cliches. Why? Because they're true. If you go that route and overlook somebody for all time, I mean, yeah, there's times you might be able to outlast them just on, maybe making a play here or there at the end, but you left yourself in a match, in a game, in a situation where, Coach Van Neal definitely not going to let his team overlook Houston as they get ready, but 16-2. Right now for the Devils. And man, I just so yeah, I mean, I'll be out there tonight at 6. I hope you're out at Mullet Arena. Yes, usually for hockey. But I'll be out there tonight at 6. And it is again absolutely awesome. It's a fun, awesome, phenomenal environment, and for volleyball. But like I mentioned, Houston real quick, they're 8-7 on the year, 3-2 in conference play. Interesting this year, they in the Omaha Invite, obviously hosted by Omaha in Omaha, Nebraska, they lost, they won in 5 against Omaha, 1 in 4 against Washington State. And then the Flow Highman Classic, they lost to the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana in 5. And then Northwestern State actually beat them 3-1. Actually they beat Northwestern State in 3. Sorry, read that backwards. Took on number 6 Texas at the time, lost in 3 to them. And then lost to number 7 Purdue in 3 in the SMU tournament, and then lost in 4 to SMU in their Cougar Challenge. They beat Texas A&M Commerce in 3, and then they lost to Ole Miss in 5. And then they beat Tennessee State in 3. When they started conference play, they beat K-State in 3, lost to Kansas in 4, lost to TCU in 5, and then beat West Virginia in 4 and beat Iowa State in 4. So a nice 2-match winning, or in 5, sorry. They took the Cyclones. The Cyclones took them to 5. but a nice 2-match winning streak now for Houston, who is over 500. So, and we'll get into more of the preview of this game in a little bit. But I'm going to step aside. When we get back, we're going to hear from Coach Dillingham. I already broke the news. Jeff Sims starting for the Sun Devils as Sam Levitt, again, with the injury. And Coach talks about it. I'll let Coach talk about it. But we will hear from Coach Dillingham. We'll also hear from offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo and Brian Ward. We'll get it all in. Actually, whatever. We'll hear from Coach Dillingham, work it out and see. Got some other stuff to get to as well. So I'm going to step aside, and we'll have more Pitchfork Lunch coming right up.
This is the sound of a racing heart. It's beating a little faster because it belongs to a young child. But this child isn't in the middle of a close soccer game or playing with her puppy in the yard. Her heart is racing because she's just been told she has to move foster homes again. Change a child's story. There's a child waiting for a volunteer like you. Learn how you can help at casaforchildren.org. This is the...
Got a big painting project you've been putting off because you don't think you can afford it? Well, it's time to call the team at Customer First Solutions. Customer First is your one-stop shop for all home repairs, from full interior and exterior painting to handyman services, drywall repair, electrical, and plumbing. Customer First has the most competitive prices in the Valley. Your flat rate quote is based on the square footage of your home, and that includes wall repair. All Customer First technicians are licensed, bonded, and fully background checked for your assurance. Call or text Customer First Solutions at 480-877-0255 for your free quote. Customer First Solutions, where our customers and their homes are our first priority.
KSRN has the inside track on all things sports, with topics and opinions from former players and local personalities. Catch 15-year NFL veteran Ed Smith and Jay Adams on Easy Sports Talk every Saturday.
Unfortunately, with this back and these knees, I don't quite have that ability, or at least I use. Are you good?
For all things Arizona Cardinals, tune in Monday nights with Casual E and Sean McConnell.
Bird gang. I know it's another tough loss, but keep encouraged. We miss you, BA.
And now you can exclusively listen to former Arizona Cardinal Jeremy Bridges on his show, JB and Benny Blue Review.
Exactly.
Don't be dumb.
Sending a message out to the world.
Always relaying that message. Don't be dumb.
Yes, your guy, Benny Blue, comedian extraordinaire.
Exclusively on KSRN, Casual Sports Radio Network.
You are listening to the best internet radio station on the web, KSRN, Arizona.
And yes, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as Twitter. Hit me up there. Questions, thoughts, anything, comments in the show, all that good stuff. Hit me up. Anything you think I might be missing, overlooked. Again, I got a triathlon, golf. I will get to it, man. It is exciting. It is fun to be a Sun Devil. It is always fun to be a Sun Devil. And yes, sometimes it's things are a little bit tougher, but right now it is just absolutely rocking. Tonight, like I said, at 7 p.m. I said 6. Get there early, but it is the Cancer Awareness Game 2 tonight. So again, October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but just in general, man, all forms of cancer. And I know, like I said, October highlighted and as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it should be. But yeah, highlighting cancer again. It sucks. The words I want to use for this disease, I will not say here, but a lot of you know, a lot of families. People and families, loved ones have been affected by it, and it does suck. But yes, tonight, 7 p.m., Mullet Arena. So don't go to Desert Financial like maybe somebody did. I wanted to do, it was for the Utah game. I wanted to do Pitchfork Lunchers, my best impersonation of, somebody from that school down south. Like, wait, did they move the game to Utah? What's going on? No, but I digress. All kidding aside, but yes, it is a cancer awareness game, 7 p.m. tonight at Mullet Arena. So get on out there and support the 16-2 Sun Devils. Well, ASU stayed at 13 this week. I thought they were up to 11. I misread. I don't know. Maybe I could have, again, looking at a million things. Yes, paying attention. But they stayed at number 13. They are 16-2 at 13. Number 1, again, Pitt. They are 15-1. They lost their first match. They were undefeated. Who did Pitt lose to? Well, inevitably. But Nebraska's at number 2. Again, ASU felt them at the Nebraska Classic. But Nebraska's number 2 in the country. They're 16-1. Penn State is number 3. They're also 16-1. And then get Louisville at 4. Stanford at 5. And then rounding out the top 10, 6 through 10 is Creighton, Texas, Kansas, first Big 12 team at number 8, Wisconsin, and then Purdue. Then you get 11 through 15 is Oregon, SMU, ASU, Minnesota, and Kentucky. And then 16 through 20 is Southern Cal, Georgia Tech, TCU, Florida State, and Utah. And then 21 through 25, Dayton, Baylor, Florida, BYU, and Auburn. So you look at, the Big 12 within the top 25. Six teams are in the top 25. as of now. So the Devils, though, again, with playing Houston, again, not ranked, and then Colorado on Friday. So that's who they have coming up. But yeah. So I digress, though, because like I told you, we are going to hear from Sun Devil football head coach Kenny Dillingham. So after practice today, and like I said, I already broke the news that he is that Jeff Sims is starting. Coach broke it, but we'll hear more about that. And just getting ready for the Cincinnati team and overall, obviously where the team's at heading into this, and his thoughts on practice today as well. But yeah, without further ado, here is Sun Devil head coach Kenny Dillingham.
Oh, that's been fine. We haven't had guys late. We've had guys on time. I mean, we just had a bad defensive practice. Offense was great. Defense was bad. Oh, that's been fine. We haven't had guys late. We've had guys on time. I mean, we just had a bad defensive practice. Offense was great. Defense was bad. It's third down day. We've been crappy on third downs. So, direct correlation.
What do you attribute that to?
I think our guys just had a lack of focus today on defense. We're trying to take some off of them physically, and not everybody can handle it when you take things off you physically, the mental side. And I think that was a little bit of it today. Elephant in the room, Sam Levitt is out for this week. We will be starting Jeff Sims.
How's Jeff looked in practice, kind of responding to that news?
Awesome. And we brought him in to compete to start. I think Sam's a really good player, and Sam beat him out, but it was close. Jeff had a good camp, and now Jeff, who started a crap ton of games, gets to go start again. To me, there's not much drama. There's not much starting a different guy. One of the 22 people are different. One of the 48 guys that we're playing consistently are different. Go play football game.
You spoke during World Camp about how these two guys, especially at the top of the queue, when it was still a Cuban competition, how they were both Sunday guys. Do you feel like now seeing kind of Sims' development, kind of with the twos and all that kind of stuff, and now that he's going to get the chance to start, do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I think they're both Sunday talents, 100%. I think the talent level of both those guys, you could put them in a room with NFL quarterbacks or pro prospects, and I think the talent level there for both of them are definitely the same.
What made you just want to announce the thing about Sims today as opposed to maybe waiting and keeping it under wraps?
Well, one, it's Wednesday practice. They're not going to change. Your padded practice is pretty much over. If you're changing your scheme drastically right now, I think that's an advantage for us. So, and then two, I want Jeff to know how much confidence we have in him. It was never meant to be a secret or never meant to be hidden. We have policies here. Just when you give so much access, you got to have some policies to protect your guys a little bit. But when things become drama filled and it's just not worth it, like, we're going to win a football game. We're not going to play hide and seek. And I have a lot of confidence in Jeff.
What have you continued to see from Jeff as he's working through the halfway point of the season?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
What have you continued to see from Jeff and his growth since fall camp through the season?
Yeah, him as a teammate, if you can't rally behind a guy who is a senior, who transferred here to start, who's been the starting quarterback going into 4 collegiate seasons. He started week 1 for a football team, who's been nothing but a phenomenal teammate, who's been nothing but dialed in the entire time. If you can't get behind that and have belief in that, then I don't know what you can get belief in. And I think that's the biggest thing that's impressed me is his ability to worry about us and to worry about himself.
Any timeline on Sam and his injuries so far?
I could give you a timeline, but it's not real. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 4 weeks. Hopefully the sooner the better. We have a bye week after this week, so maybe the following week or so, Oklahoma State. But we're gonna get through this week, get through the bye week, and then kind of half of the bye week, and then kind of reassess it as it goes.
How nice is it to have that depth at quarterback? You have so many guys that can't go.
Yeah, huge. And then behind Jeff, you have Trenton, and Trenton started a lot of games here, and so we feel as good as you can feel going into a game. And like I said, this game's about us. It's not about who the starting quarterback is. The starting quarterback's going to go out there and perform to the best of his ability. It's about us as a staff and us as a team practicing harder, playing better than what we did today in practice. And we got to be able to respond to today to better tomorrow.
For a guy that you mentioned started in 4 collegiate week ones and having to start after a bunch of weeks after being a backup, do you think there's anything about like the confidence or the mental aspect of that you have kind of had a conversation with him about so far?
No. I think sometimes people over hype things, or like, I don't know what the correct way to say that is, but they just overdo it. Like, I haven't had one conversation about him being the starting quarterback this week. Like, he knows he's the starter. He started before. Like, go play football. Like, do you need like a pep talk? Like, do the same thing I've told you since fall camp. Own the football, make good decisions, get us in a good place. And then when it's downs that you need to extend and use your legs, use them. But we're not going to sit back there and, be a team that runs our quarterback 40 times because a different quarterback's back there. We're going to do what we do. And we're going to play to the strengths of the quarterback. But at the same token, like, we're going to do what we do.
You just kind of talked about it a little bit, but does Jeff being under center, like how does that maybe change what you guys do, like in any particular ways?
Not really much at all. There was a point that we thought that Sam was going to play this week, earlier in the week, and really early in the week. So, and we put together the plan not knowing kind of which one it is. They're both athletes. They both can make all the throws you need to make. Sam's a little bit above his years mentally. So, Jeff's played a lot of football games. The knock on Jeff is turnovers, but sometimes, if you look at stats, sometimes turnovers can lie to you. You get caused anytime the ball's fumbled, it's turnover. So if the ball gets snapped 70 yards over your head, it's quarterback turnover. If the ball hits a guy in motion, it's quarterback turnover. If you throw a Hail Mary at the end of a half, it's quarterback turnover. I think Jeff's a guy that I brought in here because I'm excited about him, and I'm excited to see him play football. I really am. Like, it excites me from that side to see what Coach Arroyo, what this staff, what this team can do with a little bit of adversity, not just going on the road and not just with the difficulty of that right now in college football, going 3 time zones, but now with the changing of your starting quarterback, another challenge. So I'm excited.
What point did you make that decision? Which day do you think you said okay?
Monday. Yeah, Monday morning was probably, but we game plan, obviously. We were off on Friday or Saturday, so Saturday and Sunday, we're putting together plans. And I would say Monday morning, maybe Sunday night, we had a clue, but Monday morning.
It's the ribs, right?
Yeah, it's not just that. There's some things involved. I don't want to get too much into the details of that, but yeah, he battled through it in the game, and kudos to him. He's really tough, and now we're back.
How remarkable is that he was able to play the rest of the game in a situation where he might be out a couple weeks?
Yeah, I keep saying how tough he is. He's super tough. That's just who he is by nature. He's tough. No other word really describes it. He hopped up from his injury and put his helmet on and ran back into the huddle screaming like a maniac. Like, if that's not the guy that you feel great about is one of the leaders of your football team, then I don't know what you want, because that intensity, that passion, it fuels people. And then Jeff went in to finish that drive, touchdown.
Guys, good. We gotta get back to coach.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Well, you heard it there again. Kenny Dillingham saying it. Like, yeah, it's not, and that's his thing. I shouldn't say his thing, but his message and what he, you see it around the team. Like Coach said, it's their team. Yes, they put systems and obviously offense and defense, all that into place. But when Coach is telling you, it's a player's team, but yeah, Jeff came there to start, and as a backup, you got to be ready. Battled, and here he is now, chance to improve the Devils to 6-1. You look at what Cincinnati has done, and they were toe to toe with Texas Tech. You look at the Big 12, like I said, right now, ASU is Tied for fourth in the Big 12. Record wise, yeah, definitely record wise. Because 2-1 got three. Pardon me, as I'm drooling happily over it. But there's 3 undefeated teams in the conference, and that is BYU, Iowa State, and Texas Tech. And then there's 5 2-1 teams: Kansas State, ASU, our Sun Devils, Cincinnati, who we play, Colorado, and West Virginia. So yeah, I mean, it is. It's been again, still bummed about no Pac-12. You guys know that, but I mean, this race and I mean how it's been is absolutely awesome. For ASU, like I said, 5-1 overall. I mean, and BYU and Iowa State are still undefeated. They're both 6-0. But then Texas Tech, Kansas State, and ASU all 5-1. So it's but you look at by the way, the line to this point, again, still a little early, but Cincinnati minus 6.5 to over under 49.5. Just in case you were wondering. All right. But yeah, for Cincinnati, they beat Townsend to open up their season 38-20. They lost to Pitt by 1, 28-27. And then they turn around, beat Miami of Ohio 27-16. They shut Houston out in their first in the Big 12 opener, 34-0. Lost to Texas Tech 44-41. And again, that game had a chance to go to overtime. So yeah. And that was a week, obviously, after Texas Tech, opened up against ASU at home. And then UCF, they were able to hold on and beat UCF 19-13. But yeah, I mean, against Houston, Brendan Sorsby, they beat him, like I said, 34-0. Their starting quarterback, I mean, you talk about efficient, 12 for 15, threw for, again, 188 yards, but just 188, but still threw 2 touchdowns, no picks. So they threw for, and then Brady Lichtenberg, their backup quarterback, he was 3 for 4 for 25 yards. So they threw for 213. They rushed for 149, 2 rushing touchdowns. Corey Kinner, 16 carries for 78 yards. That game against Houston with a touchdown. And then, Sorsby, the quarterback, he rushed 3 times for 4 yards, but also had a touchdown run. So, that's what he did in their first game of Big 12 play against Houston. Then against Texas Tech again, both teams just absolutely lit it up. I mean, it was so Cincinnati was up 14-10 at the end of the first. Texas Tech outscored Cincinnati, and this game, by the way, this game was in Lubbock. Texas Tech outscored them 14-10, so we're tied at 24 at the half. Okay, so our third quarter zeros. Texas Tech outscores them 10-3, right? And then Cincinnati outscores them 14-10 again in the fourth quarter, but they fall 3 points short. I mean, that was literally the closeness of it. And you look at, what Sorsby did, 31-45, 426 yards for Sorsby, 4 touchdowns. It did have an interception, but still 4 TDs going. So yeah, this young man, and going back and actually watching that game, because I saw the end of it. The last 3 minutes, but yeah, I mean, just going back and watching it, yeah, that ball was slinging all over the field. And Morton, the quarterback from Texas Tech, was good, but he was 19 and 29, 251, 2 touchdowns. They rushed for 250, or they threw for 251. They rushed for 231 to Cincinnati's. And again, if you can control, I mean, Sorsby was their leading rusher. He had 12 carries for 52 yards. So, yeah, I mean, you see what they do. And again, each team, obviously, different players, you're gonna adjust to things differently, but hence looking at the film. So, but yeah, so that's what Cincinnati has done so far. Be a very interesting matchup. But before we get out of here, I definitely want to hear from we're going to hear from Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator. For the Sun Devils. And yeah, I mean, going in and obviously getting on the same page with Sam, and now I'll talk about obviously Jeff starting. But without further ado, here is Coach Arroyo.
Coach, since the elephant in the room has kind of already been addressed, what are your thoughts of Sam being out for this week? And more importantly, what have you seen from Jeff over the course of these last couple practices that make you feel like he's ready to get this start on Saturday?
Well, I mean, it's always unfortunate to lose your starting quarterback with all the reps you got. We know we've got a young group in the infant stages of our offense, and so to lose a guy who's hot right now, who's moving the ball, is always hard. But I mean, that's the nature of this game. You're going to see it at all levels, especially our level, NFL level. You're going to get a guy go down, and the next guy's got to step up. I think Jeff coming in the summer, having put in the time in the fall camp, having been in the training camp, having been in the room, and really put his best foot forward in regards to doing what we do and learn the offense without just sitting back and saying I'm a backup quarterback and I'm gonna show up 59-59. I'm gonna leave right when it says to leave. He's been putting in some dark hours with everybody else. He's got a good relationship with Sam. They've done a good job throughout the offseason putting some extra time in together, working together, competing together. And I mean, shoot, we didn't name the starter for until training camp, really, until we got close with Sam too. It wasn't that defined. And so he's competing, and we've got all the confidence in the world. So I think Coach is doing the right thing by getting out there early and saying, hey, here we go. We got our guy, and let's go to work.
You've discussed how you train all your quarterbacks the same, give them all the same attention.
Yeah.
How have you seen Sam's development on Jeff's development through the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's only fair. I mean, you end up, really, I think there's a real realness to the whole deal. You got a starter who you're young and you're giving the most rep to, but you can't discount the fact, having done this a long time, you can't discount the fact that you're one hit away from having this happen. And so I think that's really just the maturity, probably at the position of coaching and having been through it. And as a player and a coach, I've broken ribs, I've been taken out, I've been pulled back in, I've been the starter, and I know what that's like. I know what it's like for the program, I know what it's like for the locker room, I know what it's like for the room, for the unit, for the coaching staff to say, hey, can the next guy up? Do we feel confident that he can do what we need to do? And he's had a great week, done a great week, hasn't flinched, winning in the game, did a nice job, scored a touchdown, and I'm excited about the week of prep.
What about his skill set excites you the most?
Well, I mean, obviously, within the offense doesn't have to change. That's the beauty. A lot of times I shouldn't say a lot, sometimes, and hopefully not all the time, is that you have to pare back something. He can't do this, he can't do that. One guy's dynamic in one way and can't do that. He can make every throw. I mean, you guys have been out here, you've seen him throw. He can make every run. Physical, smart, been in a lot of systems, understands protections, and done a good job in really what his fourth offense. Really saying, hey, you know what? Here's what we do. Here's how we do it. So we haven't had to change any offense, which is great. And I think that's a tribute to him and the unit and everyone around him. Because at the end of the day, there's a new quarterback, but we've got 10 other guys in the field that got to be able to line too. And I think that's an incredible piece of what you get to challenge your unit with, is that you get a bunch of guys that need to also surround themselves around him, not just somebody who has to go out there and stand by himself.
What are some challenges of Cincinnati's defense that you guys are going to have to focus on this week?
Yeah, they've done a great job. I mean, first of all, the scheme overall, you get a bunch of guys who play hard in that scheme. I think coaches come in there and install that defense the right way. You can tell that they're working through the install of it. I've seen it a couple times here in the career with that 3-3-5. So they're playing hard. The nose tackles are a really good player. The corners are good players. The linebackers play downhill. They know what they're going to do. They're sound. Last week was one of their best games. And you can see they're really coming to come to fruition with what they need to do in that defense. So they do a really nice job. They do a really good job taking the ball away and punching the ball and stripping the ball. You can see that's an emphasis. And so I know it's going to be a really good test on the road, which we need.
How does Cam's effectiveness open?
And there he is, Marcus Arroyo. You heard it. I mean, look, and like you said, you don't have to, because again, backup quarterback comes in. Not that they're going to have completely opposite skill sets. I mean, when you're recruiting quarterbacks, obviously Kenny Dillingham being an offensive coordinator, and Coach Arroyo having been around, having played, having done it. You heard him say it there. But yeah, you're going to recruit, quarterbacks, and even transfer portal wise. Either way, you're looking in. You're going to go after guys that, yes, if whoever wins the job, if the other person has to come in due to, like I said, injury, if the other person has to come in, well, guess what? Like, you're still going to be running your offense. So, so yeah, and the way this offensive line's been playing, man, it's just, and talking to Coach Saga on the way out of practice, talking to him again, it's like he told the guys to celebrate against Utah. I mean, Utah's, defensive line can force you into some mistakes. We all get this and know this, but it's it's one of those things where he for Coach Arroyo. Now I'm talking like, you're going to call the offense. Yeah, there's probably some things when they go over, like, he'll like to see, and obviously you have. Cam Scatterboom, we'll see, him trying to get on that page with the receivers. But, yeah, it'll be very, very interesting. So very stoked for that. But, yeah, and tomorrow we will hear from CJ Fight and Prince Dorba as well, speaking of the defensive side of the ball. And a quick snippet from Caleb McCullough, who had a phenomenal game. Plus, we'll have volleyball. We'll get some volleyball post game. Again, Houston tonight, 7 p.m. At Mullet Arena. And Jelly Sarah, I got to get stats real quick. And she's up over 200 kills now. 217 kills on the season. Shania Cromartie coming on. She's at 149. Claire Jeter has 142. And then both Bailey Miller and Savannah Gohede have 111. So the team has 849 kills. They're up to 106 aces. So, again, like I said, they've won one match and one set off of aces alone. Absolutely huge. But, yeah, the Jelly Sear kilometer and the digometer for Mary Schroll, 316 for Mary Schroll. You expect it from a libero. Sears got 156. And then Argentina Ung, as a setter, has 148. So, yeah, not only setting, she can hit as well, because Ung has 65 kills as well. So, again, it's just get on out there to see this team. But I'm going to get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your Mike, what day is it? Hump day. Woo, woo. Yep, that's for Mama. Always for Mama Caratanudo. She's still, that's her favorite commercial. So, going to get out of here. Everybody have a great and phenomenal rest of your Wednesday. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And you know it, especially my peeps listening on the Casual Sports Radio Network. It's a Sun Devil State, but as always, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
27-yard line. That's a great call. Play fake. Bubba will put it up. Throws over the middle. Touchdown.
Trying to center off with Eckerly, and he just missed the net. O'Reilly with the shot. Far down, he scored.